Could Spurs go back in for an attack in January? Kulusevski shows his leadership skills, and rumours continue about a sensational return to Spurs for Harry Kane. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Let's get into it. Give Me Sports state that Nottingham Forest captain Morgan Gibbs-White could reassess his options in January amid ongoing interest from Tottenham, according to Call Offside. The England international was targeted by Spurs before the start of the season and even saw his £60 million release clause activated, but opted to stay at the City ground pending a new contract. 25-year-old is expected to make a fresh reassessment of his options at the turn of the year, with the likes of Tottenham, Aston Villa and West Ham and Newcastle keeping a close eye on the situation. According to Call Offside, Forest would not be under pressure to sell Gibbs-White, having just tied him to a fresh agreement, but suggestions that their head could be turned for £60 million bid. TBR Football report that despite not being available to play for Sweden, Kulusevski has joined up with John Thomason's squad for the games against Slovenia and Kosovo. Kulusevski will not be able to play or train, but will be around the squad to offer support during World Cup qualifying action. Members of the Sweden squad have stated, "All of us appreciate it enormously. He's injured and could just as easily have sat at home and been upset about missing out. But the fact that he calls John and wants to be here and support the team, I think that's really, really good and shows what a leader he is." Paphos ace Ken Sema even added, "He's crazy to see Kulusevski around the squad, praising him for showing up even when injured." The Standard report that Tottenham technical director Johan Lange believes the signing of Xavi Simons leaves the squad in a stronger place than expected after bumps along the way in the transfer window, having seen deals for Morgan Gibbs-White and Enquiries as they collapse. A rollercoaster summer for Spurs ended on a high with the capture of Dutch star Simons, who had been tracked by Chelsea throughout the window, but it looked for weeks like the transfer window would be a bust for Spurs, for which the responsibility would have been laid at the feet of Lange and Levy. Lange is confident the transfer window turned out for the better and is excited by Simons' drive and determination following conversations between the pair ahead of the signing. "I think sometimes if you have bumps along the way, things can turn out for the better," Lange told Spurs Play. "We had a conversation with Xavi and we saw his desire and determination to join our football club. It was fantastic for us. What he has shown so far in his young career from a very, very young age, played together with some of the best players in the world when you really dig into his story." TBR Football report that former England striker Michael Owen says that Harry Kane was nuts to leave Tottenham when he was so close to breaking Alan Shearer's goal-scoring record. "You're on the verge of being the all-time Premier League goal scorer. You've got kids that are all in school. I mean, I just couldn't see it. I don't see it. If you're that desperate to win something, then, do another year and then go." However, the reality is that Kane wasn't that close to breaking this record, having scored 213 Premier League goals. Kane is the second best goal scorer in the history of the Premier League. However, he's still 47 goals short of Alan Shearer's 260 tally. Could potentially take 2 seasons for Kane to hit the 47 league goals needed. And at the age of 30, at the time he left Tottenham, he didn't have the time to waste as he looked to win trophies. And continuing on the subject of Harry Kane, 442 suggests that a Bayern Munich obligation gives Harry Kane the green light for a sensational Tottenham return. Back when he left North London in 2023, Spurs chairman Daniel Levy agreed a clause in the forward's departure that his club should be given first refusal when Kane made his next move. And the tentative first steps of that may be falling into place with Bayern Munich's latest move. With Nicholas Jackson moving to Bayern, it is more than feasible that Bayern look to offload Kane next year at the age of 33, with Jackson then given the role of being the club's first choice number 9. with Spurs at the front of the queue, of course, though 4-4-2 understands that Bayern are in no rush to plan for such an eventuality and that Kane will have other options for his next move. 4-4-2 understands that once the England captain does decide to make the final move of his career, a stateside switch to the MLS could be on the cards, with Kane interested in pursuing a career in America. And finally, as I'm sure you're all aware, the following players have missed out on Frank's Champions League group phase squad: Dejan Kulusevski, James Maddison, Radu Dragusin, Yves Bissouma, Kota Takai and Matisse Tell. So here's my thoughts on all those stories today, and apologies if there's any wind noise. I am outside as usual, but it's a bit nippy here in England at the moment, having had a really good summer, so I do apologise if the audio quality isn't great, but it is what it is. Firstly, on Morgan Gibbs-White, personally I can't see this happening. Can you imagine Marinakis letting Morgan Gibbs-White go, just having been there 6 months? I think it could be at least a year before you go back into him. I can't see Morgan Gibbs-White moving in January. So for me, this story is probably not going to come to pass. Look, I'll take him, don't get me wrong, 100% I'll take him. Always absolutely loved the player, really excited when we thought he was going to be coming to Tottenham, of course, but didn't happen. So not for me, but get down in the comments, let me know. You might think different. Dejan Kulusevski showing absolute class, by the way, going to support his teammates in World Cup qualification. Real leadership qualities there, and I think it's good for Kulusevski himself, to be fair, because it gets him away from the routine of Hotspur way. He's probably really frustrated at the moment, can't play football, and it's really good that the club have given him permission to go away with his national team and support them. And as I say, it shows really good leadership skills from Kulusevski. So, and from what we're led to believe, the Sweden players absolutely love the fact that he's gone there and creates real unity for that team. So hopefully Sweden can do well in their qualifiers. Lange talking on Xavi Simons. I think Xavi Simons is going to be an excellent signing for Tottenham. I've been critical of Lange and the stuff he hasn't done in this transfer window, but I think he's pulled something out of the fire there with Xavi Simons. I think he's going to be a very, very important player for Tottenham, and I am really looking forward to seeing him in the Spurs shirt. Really am. Leading on from that, the next story is Michael Owen on Harry Kane. Michael Owen gets a fair bit of stick on social media, I have to say, and some would say quite rightly. He said he doesn't understand. I remember it actually. He tweeted about it, about Harry Kane and how he thinks he should stay at Tottenham and try and break that record. I thought he should, but then again, I'm a Tottenham fan and didn't want Harry Kane to leave in the first place. For me, would I want to beat Shearer's record in the Premier League or win a trophy in Germany? For me, I would have rather beaten Shearer's record, but that's just me. Harry Kane obviously thought differently, so I don't know. Get down in the comments, let me know. If you were in Kane's position, would you have gone, or would you rather Shearer's record? Really interesting one, that. Kane coming back to Spurs. I had to throw this in because I said this when I heard that Jackson was going to Bayern. Are they preparing for Harry Kane to leave next year? Look, some people will shoot me down and say either don't want him back or that's never going to happen. You know, could be both. Could be both. You could be in that camp for both. But for me, I'd take Harry Kane back 100%. I would. Yes, at the age of 33, probably not in the profile of player that Lange wants and the club want. But come on, it's Harry Kane. I would welcome him back. And I think he would break that record. He'd probably take 2 seasons, like I say, he'd be 35. But it's Harry Kane. He's never relied on his pace. So I genuinely think he could do it. I'd love to see it. Look, but get down in the comments, let me know. Has Kane burned his bridges with you guys? Let me know. The Champions League squad, the final one here. I did a short on this, but the players left out, obviously Kulu, Madders, Dragusin, Takai, Bissouma, and probably a surprising one for some people is Matisse Tell. Unlucky for Tell to miss out, but I think this was a straight choice between him and Odegaard, and I think Thomas Frank has hinted and shown so far that he actually really likes and rates Odegaard over Tell. So not probably a surprise that Tell's missed out, but yeah, that's going to hit him hard. It's not going to do much for his confidence. But look, tough decisions have to be made, and Tell's obviously not at that level yet. So Thomas Frank works with the players day in, day out. But get down in the comments. Let me know. Would you have rather? If it was you, would you have taken Tell over Odebel? Would you have not taken somebody else? Interesting one, isn't it? We're all good pundits, and we've all got our own opinions on it. That's what makes football brilliant. So, out of the two, personally, I think Frank's made the right decision to take Odebel over Tell, if that was the decision. But you may feel differently. Get down in the comments. Let me know. Indeed, on any of the stories in today's reports. Sorry about any wind noise, but I hope it's come across well. So get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on all the stories today, and come on, you Spurs.